Okay, cool. So now we know a lot about Byldd and the culture, and we also know a little bit about you. I would like to know more, but first, because the topic is not that old, it's just a couple of minutes old, we talked about AI.
Yeah.
And you told us already how do you use AI to speed up processes, what makes total sense. But generally speaking, I mean, we see how fast AI is taking over.
Yeah.
In the development space, I would say it's definitely one of the biggest ones because it's straightforward.
Yeah.
Right? If we look into marketing, for example, it's still complicated because sounding natural, they are not there yet.
Yeah.
And it will take a lot of time, like probably a year or two more until they are there. But code is code. It's basically a book in the first place, right? You are like, you can say something to that in a second.
Yeah.
So when you write code, you have like a certain code and it does a certain function, right? So I have on the left side, if I put this code in, this will happen on the front end. On a basic, easy level for people like us, which are completely like amateurs.
Sure.
And this is obviously much easier to learn for AI than speaking natural. So we see all those apps on the market right now, which are growing, and they do amazing things already.
Sure.
Not saying they do everything perfect, but definitely it's impressive.
Yeah.
How would you say this has an impact on your company, your industry, on the short term? I'm not talking, we don't know what happens in the next 2-3 years, but let's say in the next 6 months.
So short term, I am not concerned about this, right? So I don't agree that like code is easy to figure out in that sense, because an application is not a simple, like a single function where like you want something to happen, right? There are multiple connected pieces when you're building an application, and what AI tools don't do well yet is system architecture, system design, overall like infrastructure of the products that you're going to build. So you might get apps that work potentially sometimes or for like a specific use case, but when you try to add complexity using these AI tools, there's often like recurring problems that happen, like something gets fixed here, something somewhere else breaks, stuff like that. So we actually work with a lot of founders that come to us, they're like, hey, we built this thing on AI, but we can't get it to work the way we want to. And then now they need like professional help to take over and fix it. And I would say probably it's like 50-50 odds that we need to scrap the whole thing and rebuild it from scratch, because it's really like the issue is like this being context aware, right? Like AI is not able yet to be completely context aware of the business objectives of that application, the overall infrastructure, the system design, all of that stuff. It's not yet doing as well as it could.
Okay, interesting. But do you think it will come to this point?
Eventually, I do. I think that's a couple of years out. And I do think that the engineering profession will shift to more of the thinking side than the doing side, right? So engineers will, instead of writing code themselves, will move towards more of a system design function where they're planning what the application needs to do and like the specifics of the infrastructure, and then giving that instruction to the AI to build out.
Yeah, I think so. That makes total sense, because I mean, we will need a longer time, couple of years, until this thought processes will be done by AI for sure, right? So we know still what is best for humans, what like the connection, the feeling, soul. This is something what can't be replaced.
The intuitive knowledge cannot be replaced.
So I get that. So when it comes now currently to the situation, founder comes to you and asks you to build an app. How do you decide what tech stacks do you use?
Yeah, it really depends on like what the app needs to do, right? There are pros and cons to pretty much everything. And if it really depends. We favor JavaScript applications because long-term, like it becomes easiest to build and maintain an application that's built on JavaScript. It has a couple of advantages. One, it's the most popular language in the world, which means it's easiest to get talent for that already understands JavaScript. So compared to any other language, there are more engineers in the world that know JavaScript as opposed to anything else. The second thing is that because JavaScript is the most popular language, it has the greatest number of open source third-party tools. So you can there's just by orders of magnitude, there are more open source tools for JavaScript than there are for any other languages. So you don't have to build as much from scratch as you would have if you were doing another language. That said, there are certain advantages to using Python, like for example, for AI-related projects, and if you want to do like agentic AI stuff, and there are advantages of using like native Swift or Kotlin for iOS and Android development and things like that. But like if I had to pick one, it would be JavaScript, TypeScript type projects.
Makes sense. Okay, so looking in the current situation, I would say, I mean, you described already, you can take a certain percentage already away from your work with AI.
Yeah.
What would you say, 20%? Like
no, much more, 60, 70%.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I mean, looking into this at your current pricing, which is absolutely fair, I personally feel, right? I mean, people can write you and ask for pricings of stuff, but I mean, you always say around $15,000 to $20,000 you can build an MVP.
Yeah.
Right. So, and if I look into the market, I have friends, they paid $100,000, $200,000 for their apps just recently. So, do you think at the moment people are not using AI enough in the space, or do you think they will just cash out at the moment, like when they charge this high amount of money? Like the same basically price what they charged 3-4 years ago, but now have 60% lesser work.
Yeah, I mean, to an extent that is being passed on to customers, right? So it's not just in the development space, right?
Yeah.
You can see that, I think it was it McKinsey or Goldman, one of these companies, I will correct it later, but one of those companies basically replaced a bunch of junior associates with AI, and the hours that those juniors would have charged, they didn't bill those customers for them. They basically passed on those savings. So the people who are hiring from McKinsey and hiring from Bain and Company or Goldman, they're paying like hundreds of thousands of dollars for that service. And so the same kind of pattern is going to be followed here as well. So I'm expecting a little bit of a price drop, but the companies that these agencies service, the ones that are charging $300,000, $200,000 are generally like larger enterprises who can afford this kind of stuff. So they're, I would say, less price sensitive to this.
Okay, but why would they go to, I mean, no one would spend more if they don't need to. Why would they go to a $300,000 company instead of going to Byldd, in your opinion?
Ultimately, I think it's about reputation and trust, right? We are new. We are relatively unknown.
I mean, not that new. You're 5 years on the market already.
Sure,
also, right?
Absolutely, yes. But there are companies that have been there for 30 years, 40 years. So I mean, why do people get stuff built by Deloitte or Accenture or any of these big giant companies? It's because there's an element of trust that they have that the output is going to be what they're expecting. Whether or not that ends up being the case is secondary. It's an impression. It's the kind of comfort level that some of these larger enterprises need to have, which is understandable. But we're hoping that as we build more of our reputation, as we continue to get referrals and people, our founders keep talking about us and advocating for us, we will move more into that space. More enterprises will become comfortable taking a risk with a relatively young, scrappy startup.
Cool. So now a little bit more about your personality. To wrap it up, your personality as a founder, what motivates you every morning to wake up as an entrepreneur and go rocket, skyrocket?
I mean, there's like the truthful answer, and there's like this polished answer that we.
I want the truthful
answer. Yeah, I mean, look, it's incredibly fun and exciting, all of that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't have a choice. You have to get up in the morning and you have to do the work that needs to be done.
100%.
So you cannot wait for motivation most of the time. But on the flip side, like I really enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
It's really a lot of fun to like solve some of these challenges of like growing lots of different businesses, and these I'm talking about the founders that we're working with, right? And like you learn a ton about a bunch of different industries. Like I've learned stuff about medical administration that I would have never like even thought of, or finance or fashion, like all sorts of. So you really get to learn a lot, and each industry and domain has its own unique challenges. So just if you're somebody who enjoys problem solving, likes that kind of challenge, it's a very fun thing to do.
you do at the moment a lot of marketing. So you put out videos every day, you
Yeah.
put out now this long format, maybe this comes on the website, I don't know, but like you try to really be out there and give people like an idea what Byldd is and what you are as a founder.
Yeah.
What I think it's a great idea to show people your brand and the thing you're building. But if this will take time, and if you look now into like the next 3 years, what do you want that people say about you and say about Byldd in 3 years, when not maybe every customer, but person in general which see you online? What do you would like to have them, how they see you?
Like what kind of impression I want
Yeah.
to create with the marketing content that we have?
Yeah, I mean, you don't do this just to make sales. You're good in sales.
Definitely.
You're doing great.
Yeah.
Business is running. For you, it's also a thing that you want to have a footstep in the industry. As you said earlier, hey, there are large companies. We want to build this trust. We want to be there.
Yeah.
We are good as them,
Yeah.
maybe even better. And that's what we want to show, right? So, but how do you want them to see you as a person and to see you as a business?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, look, our goal is to make it easier for non-technical founders to build businesses, right? So that's the overarching goal that we started the business with, right? So everything that we're doing is towards that goal. So the content that we produce, a lot of it is advice that I personally would have loved to have when I was starting out, when I didn't know, or when I didn't know what I didn't know.
Yeah.
So the impression I want to create with these founders is that, hey, this person is somebody trustable. This person's an expert. This person knows what they're doing, and they can help us accomplish what often is like their life goal, or like something really, really important to them, right? Which is starting a company and becoming an entrepreneur and becoming financially independent and all of those things. So yeah, that's what we want to do.
Cool. Interesting, and fits directly to my next question. What advice would you give to founders who are just starting out?
Focus on customers, right? So nothing else matters. Sales is the number one thing that you guys need to go after. If you get sales, everything else falls into place.
Okay, so finally, what does building fast, smart, and affordable really mean to you?
It means that we want to be very focused on building something that solves a problem and solves it well, right? So smart here is cutting out all of the excess. Affordable is making sure it's making sense for bootstrapping founders. And quickly is doing it in a way that we're able to get in front of customers as quickly as possible.
I see. Cool. Okay, so anything you wanna say to maybe other founders or fresh founders? They are like watching right now and say, hey, I want to know what is Byldd up to. I saw an ad, I saw a video, I saw an organic part, or I wanted to know more. And now I'm here and get the full big picture of Ayush and Byldd. Do you want to tell them anything?
Yeah. Starting a company is not easy, but it's incredibly fulfilling. And if that's something you're interested in, if there's an idea that you have and you understand your space well, reach out and let's talk about how we can turn that aspiration and that dream into reality.
Cool. I would love to do this again for different other topics. I have thousands of questions. I think we are an hour in or something.
Yeah.
So maybe not like about your like biography. That was more like an informational video for people which probably know you already.
Yeah.
But making this kind of style videos for like things which are in the industry working, or the current things, or your thoughts on certain apps or businesses would be great.
Amazing. Yeah, I'd
Cool.
love to.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.